Welcome to Wealth Builders. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and I'm here with our host, the man with the plan, as always, is Anthony Congemi from Crescent City Retirement Group. And Anthony, we're going to have a great show today. I don't know how you do it. You've got a huge get for the show today. I don't know how you get these A-lister guests, but we're excited today about the show because one of the hottest topics right now is cybersecurity. It's gotten out of hand with scams, and it is unbelievable out there. It used to be more that it just targeted seniors, but now it's targeting everybody all the time. And of course, especially seniors catch the brunt of it still. But I can't wait to dig into that. First, Anthony Congemi, how have you been? What's going on over there?
Well, going good, Tony. We've been busy, just taking care of our clients, doing our reviews and things. The summer has not slowed down. I mean, we have been very active. We have just come off our breakfast series. We're doing a monthly breakfast series at Copeland's, and this past month we did feature the cybersecurity and cybersecurity protection. And so we just thought it'd be fitting to have Adam here as a guest today to discuss cybersecurity. Tony, we have been, it just seems like it's almost now, weekly that we hear of someone that has been, somebody has tried to reach out to a client and say, and really with these scams, Tony, I mean, they're just, it's really unfortunate. I mean, I want to say my mother even calls me at least once a week and says that, somebody's called about her car, her extended warranty on her car,
the old extended warranty.
Oh my gosh, and then just recently, Tony, I had a client who got an email from a antivirus vendor saying that your antivirus software was needed to be updated. Just update the antivirus. Yeah. And Tony, she clicked the box to update her antivirus software, and just that fast they got into her checking account and savings account at the bank. And so this is happening, and we just want to continue to try to get the word out and to give our listeners some tips about what's going on,
some ammunition.
Absolutely,
Tony. Yeah. Well, introduce our special guest today, Anthony.
Absolutely. So actually, we have Adam Leday. Adam is my nephew. He is finishing up his master's in computer science at Tulane, and he has really kind of taken the charge for us and our firm as it relates to cybersecurity, and really knows a great deal about it. And the presentation that we're presented at our breakfast series is FINRA approved. So it's really the latest and greatest as it relates to the information, Tony, as far as cybersecurity and what people can do about it.
I think that's great. Adam, great to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. Indeed, I'm Adam Leday, a master's student at Tulane in computer science. I'm wrapping up this semester in the fall, and I'm happy to talk and answer any all questions about cybersecurity. We have a FINRA-approved presentation from the horse's mouth, 1 hour to cybersecurity, that indeed I gave a talk very recently on, and I'm happy to reinstate parts of it here.
Excellent. And we're going to show for our listeners and viewers out there, I'm going to show it for our viewers, but listeners and viewers, all you have to do to get this Savvy Cybersecurity Quick Reference Guide is give the office a call. Just contact Crescent City Retirement Group, contact Anthony and his team there, and they will get you a copy of this. Anthony, what's the number there they can call to get a copy of this?
Absolutely. So the Savvy Cybersecurity Quick Reference Guide for 2026. So call 504-828-2171. That's 504-828-2171. And we will be sure to get you this quick reference guide. It really is a wealth of information, and frankly, and I hope you see this through this presentation and our show today. There are some things that you can do that are really not expensive. And as a matter of fact, I want to say some of the top things that you can do to protect yourself really doesn't cost anything per se, but it just brings your protection and your level of protection up significantly. So we really hope that everybody that hears this show today will give our office a call and get your copy of the quick reference guide for savvy cybersecurity. It's 504-828-2171, or visit us online at crescentcityretirement.com.
All right. Well, hey, Adam, let's bring you in. You're the expert here. So what's one of the first things? I know there's a questionnaire here. What's one of the first things you would ask people or have them look at to make sure that they do have cybersecurity?
The very first thing and most important thing to consider and look out for is your email address. Everything starts from your email. And notably, if ever you forget your username or your password and you want to confirm that it really is you, you usually send a confirmation code to your email. But that's a pretty big flaw for what happens if someone is able to get into your email. And earlier, Uncle, you referenced someone who clicked on a bad link and their email became compromised. And just from that, someone was able to get into their bank's checking and savings account, likely because they just said, "Oh, I've forgotten my password." And then they sent a confirmation email to your email address. And because they had access to that, they were able to change your password and get in just from having that little bit. Keeping your email as secure as possible is the very first step to cybersecurity. And a good recommendation is actually to have a separate email address, one that you keep for yourself, for your private personal accounts to send out to friends and family, and a second, even more secure email that you will use only for your private institutions, stuff like your healthcare, your banking, things that you really want to keep locked down. This is an email address that you don't give out to every person. This is the email that you keep super secure.
Interesting. So have a separate email that you don't just give out every time you sign up for some newsletter or mailing list, but have a separate email for all your top priority accounts that are linked financially. So I think that's a great idea. And then don't give that out anywhere else. That's what you're saying, correct?
Exactly right. Think about all the times you tell someone about your email. Your email might be publicly listed on your website or on your LinkedIn or on your resume if you're giving that out to people you talk about. That level of exposure just means that you're able to be attacked very frequently. If someone knows your email, they might try to break in.
Yep.
This second email that you're keeping very, very secret and very secure will have your most important information on it, and you won't just give out to everyone. If your email address is, say, for example, Tony@email.com, that might not be good for a private email address. But one that you give out to your friends and family, sure, they want to know it's Tony.
Yeah.
Maybe for your personal financial institution, you want something a little more secure.
Yeah, something that people couldn't guess. A lot of times I've like, what's his email address again? And I've guessed it and gotten it right. It's like, oh, first initial last name at gmail.com. That's a go-to.
Now that's fine for your personal stuff you're giving out to friends and family,
sure,
but not for your big important institutions.
So banking, Adam, your banking accounts, checking, saving, logging in at the bank, maybe your brokerage accounts, investment accounts, all of that. You wouldn't use your personal email. You would use this separate, more secure email for those types of logins.
Ideally, that's correct.
Excellent. Okay, so that's step one. Have an email address that you use exclusively for online financial accounts, banking, credit cards, like you said, Anthony. Now, what's the next step to making sure we're cyber secure?
Well, now step two is something that nobody likes. I don't like it, but it's very important. And that's something called two-step verification. For For anyone who doesn't know what two-step verification is, it's the idea that if someone knows your email and password, they might just be impersonating you. They might just try to break into your account. So you need a second way to prove you are who you say you are. And usually the way to do that is to send a text message to your phone. And you would then enter that text message in the special code that it gives you. And that proves, hey, not only do I know my password, I also happen to have this person's cell phone. What are the odds a hacker has both their cell phone and their password? Very, very low. That's the idea behind two-factor. But a very important thing I want to note is that sometimes two-factor can leave you a little high and dry. Say, for example, you don't have your cell phone. Oh my goodness gracious, it's broken, it's lost, or you've dropped it in a lake. In that case, how do you now get into all of your accounts? You have your password, but you don't have your phone. When you are setting up two-factor authentication, ways other than your cell phone can be good things to set up. Usually a recovery email is the best way, I like to say. Someone that you trust heartily, your dad, your spouse, your son, let them be your recovery email. So that way, if you don't have your phone, the two-factor message can get sent to them instead, and they can verify that you are who you say you are. The weakness of this is you're giving a little bit of your security to someone else, but the strength in this is that you are trusting someone. And that can be even more benefit to just relying on everything yourself.
Like, say, a nephew or an uncle. Just throwing that out there,
absolutely.
Anthony.
Right. Yeah. So Adam, and again, I'm relatively, I'm learning as I go too, in terms of these various layers of security. So if our audience, just as a recap, they have a separate email, which does that cost if you go to Gmail and set up a separate email? Is there a cost to that?
It costs $0.00, tax free.
Okay. So they can, and then this authentication, this second check, where if I go to log into my bank account or to my credit card company, I have to put in my my password, of course, and then it would send me a code to my cell phone, let's say, and then I have to have my cell phone, obviously, to be able to log in. So to have that extra layer of security, is there a cost to that?
There is no cost outside of anything your cell plan would cost for receiving text messages. That I say would depend on your cell plan, but to my knowledge, no, it shouldn't trigger anything for us.
Because right off the bat, the client that I just had recently, who they sent an email to her, I'm not sure if this would have protected her, up to this point, but they sent an email to her saying that her antivirus software needed to be updated. And she clicked on the update, which, we can all easily do. All of a sudden you get this message that says, hey, update your antivirus software to protect yourself. So you think you're doing a good thing. She clicks, and then they get into her computer and get into her bank account. So with what we just said about this second email of this authentication, this second authentication code, that probably wouldn't have helped her, though, correct?
Let's imagine security like a locked box, and you have the key to this box. And the idea is you want this box to be big and strong, so that way someone can't break into the box. Having a second email address is making the box big and strong. And having two-factor enabled means you need two distinct keys in order to open the box. Now, that's well and good. What you're referencing is someone tricking you into giving them the keys. That's something called phishing, or when someone is going to try and scam or trick you into lowering your security defenses. That is a mindset, being able to be aware of when someone is telling the truth, when they're trying to trick you, and when they're trying to get you to give them money. And that's something that you need to pay attention to and be aware of. And there are certain rules that can help with that. The biggest of which is actually an acronym called email. Email can stand for examine the message and inspect the link. Whenever you receive an email, the first thing you do is you examine the message. See who is sending this message. Is it from someone that you trust? Is it someone you know? Is it from Dave from accounting? Or is it from Bob from India, or someone that you don't know or maybe trust. If it looks a little suspicious, keep your guard up. The second thing is to inspect the link. If the link that they send you looks suspicious, don't click on it. When in doubt, don't click on the link. But sometimes they will do something called spoofing a link. What spoofing a link does is the link says, I'm going to one location. If you hover your mouse over the link, it will tell you where it's actually going. It might say, I'm going to take you to antivirus.com, but when you hover over the link, it might be a jumbled nonsense of many different letters and characters, which likely means that it's taking you somewhere else entirely, and it's meaning to trick you. My personal advice is, if you suspect a scam, don't even hover over the link. Just ignore the message entirely. Don't give it the time of day.
Just delete it.
Exactly right.
When in doubt, delete. That's my motto. And I used to fall prey to some clicking a link and, oh, that wasn't from my IT support. That was a spoofed link trying to get me to click on something.
Now, there are a few telltale signs when a message is trying to phish or when it's trying to scam you. The first of which is check to see if they're actually addressing you. If they say, dear customer, or dear sir or ma'am, or to whom it may concern, that's red flag number one.
Yeah.
If somebody's messaging you, they should have some information about who you are and they should address you by name. List number two, who does it say it's from? Does it say it is from the official government of the United States? Or does it say it is from so-and-so person who works at the office of this company? If it's more specific about saying who it's from, you can verify that information, which is why many spam callers or spam emailers will not say who it's from outside of the big company name.
Right.
Checking for grammar and then for actual believability of what it is they're asking can be a little misleading, as sometimes even professionals make spelling errors, but it's a very good sign if you see someone has misspelled or used the wrong there, or they have random punctuation. That's a hint that it's a red flag and something you should not pay attention to.
And Adam, isn't it? And I heard you mention this at the workshop. If somebody is calling you or sending you an email, like in my client's case, where the company was saying she had to click this link to pay her subscription or redo her, it was going to be she needed to update her subscription. Just reaching out before doing any clicking, just actually reaching out to the company. I mean, that would have solved it right there. If she would have hovered over a link and said, well, hey, where is this coming from? And let me just go ahead and reach out to Norton in this case. Well, let me reach out to the company and talk to a service provider there, so I know I'm talking to who I'm supposed to be talking to.
Exactly right. When in doubt, verify. If someone gives you a link to click on and you don't trust it 100%, don't click on it. They give you a phone number and you don't trust that phone number, don't call it. Call who they say they are. If they say they're from your bank and they give you a number to call, don't call that number. Just call the number you know for your bank. Go ahead and look up online your bank, or if you have their phone number, call them or give them an email and say, is this legitimate? 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you, we have no idea who that person is or who they're claiming to be. If they give you the number to call, the spammer I'm referring to, and you call them, of course they're going to validate it and say, oh, yes, you should trust them and send them a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, it's something. Adam, what about these gift cards? Why do we keep what's up with these gift cards now?
So if somebody asks for gift cards or tells you they need gift cards, even if you think it sounds legit or urgent, it's usually a red flag. Never do that, right?
I won't say it's usually a red flag. I'll say it's always a red flag.
Yeah.
The only time you were going to buy a gift card is because you want something for your nephew's birthday, which, speaking of,
little hint there, Anthony.
If you aren't buying a gift card specifically for a person that you know, and you know exactly why you're buying that gift card, and you were planning to give it by hand to that person, don't buy it at all. The reason why people are asking you to buy gift cards is to add an extra level of abstraction between your money and being able to get it back. If you make a very legitimate purchase, if you spend that money on that gift card and then give it to somebody else, they can then take the money from that gift card and pull it out. And for you to get your money back, you need to now go through an extra hoop, an extra step. The difference, if they just pull it out of your bank account, is that your bank can undo that transaction. They have a certain level of being able to rewind it. But if you made a legitimate purchase, if you actually bought those gift cards, then the bank is a little more reluctant to wind that purchase back because it was a legitimate purchase. And the scammers then have more time to actually dispose of the money, to put it into somewhere where you can't get it. If ever you receive any message from anybody, from the state, from any person that you even trust, and they say, I need X, Y, or Z amount of money, buy these gift cards to get it to me, the biggest of red flags. It is a scam. Do not do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's huge.
You know, you even wonder, because I had a client of mine about a month ago bought two $2,000 gift cards to Lowe's, and you wonder what they even would say to have you. I don't know, like, you know, how they're presenting themselves, but I tell you, it's just unbelievable how many scams are out there. You know, it used to be that a criminal could, you know, you could, you know, would break into your house or, you know, break into your car. And I mean, that's what you were protecting against. Now, you know, every time you turn your computer on, if you're not, very, you know, aware and cognizant and diligent with what you're clicking on, they can get into your life and get into your accounts just so fast. It's really mind-boggling.
Speaking of that, the next level of protections to address would be at your home Wi-Fi and router, and when you are out and about using Wi-Fi. Many people use free public Wi-Fi if you're out at a coffee shop or a library or restaurant or just in the airport. They'll have free public Wi-Fi. Something to note is that when you are in such Wi-Fi areas, your information is a little more public than if you are on a personal network. People can see what it is you're doing. And if you are checking, say, sensitive emails or your banking account, that is a little more dangerous. You're putting yourself at extra risk. So if you're ever at a place where they don't ask you to put in a password, to put in the email, assume that anything you do and check is public knowledge. So make sure you stay away from your secret websites or you stop your banking account information on there.
Yeah.
From home, go ahead and check your router and make sure that your router is nice and secure. That's the most technical protection that you can have. And many people are going to say, I don't know what my router is. It's the little box that gives you Wi-Fi. It has certain protections on it, and very old routers will use something called WEP, which is a wired protection. And the standard thing nowadays is WPA2 or WPA3, and those are significantly more secure. And if you have that older router that you haven't looked at in 10 or 20 years, you might want to check to make sure you can use the more advanced security on it, or maybe it's time to upgrade. And if you haven't touched your router in a long, long time, maybe reevaluate what its username and password are. If you're using the default factory settings, make sure you're not, because such defaults can be very easily cracked.
Yeah, and make sure your password is something that's intricate enough to avoid detection and not just like your address or your phone number or your birth date.
It's the most annoying thing, having 1,000 different passwords. And to address having a little password book, I don't know if anyone keeps a little physical password book that has all of their stuff in there, but to manage all of that, there are electronic password managers.
Yes.
And Google comes with one, their Google Password Manager, that can very easily help you log in. Basically, use one very secure password for your password manager. And then once you use that, you now have access to all of your other passwords. Those can help be suggested strong passwords that somebody couldn't easily get in unless they know your one very good password.
So if you had a one very good password to your password manager, and then it was you had the second authentication to that account, I mean, it would really be extremely difficult for somebody to get in there.
Exactly right. If someone does get in there, there's a lot of trouble. But at that point, how many levels of failure can you build in before that's the ball game? So at that point, I state that yes, if you have a very secure password manager, password two-factor enabled on it, and recovery options, that should be a good, powerful means. There are paid and free password managers, and I personally would recommend the free ones for a standard user. But if you handle a great deal of complexity, or you are worried that you are visiting sketchy sites or are especially prone to clicking on links, you may want a paid password manager, as well as other protections. And there are many other protections you can have.
Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, we can get deep in the weeds. Try to avoid clicking on links. I know it's hard. They make it sound urgent a lot of times, like, "Hey, you need to do this now, or else this is
Right.
gonna bad things will happen." Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah, they just scare people, you know, and they think that they need to hurry up and click on something or do something.
Yeah.
And you know, it seems like they are preying on older folks that
Seniors are the primary target of a lot of these scams and cyber attacks. I mean, my mother-in-law, my dad, they get bombarded.
yeah, with all of these, you know, offers that they need to hurry up and click on and do, or some membership is going to expire, or their warranty is going to expire, or they didn't pay a bill that they needed to pay and that was going to get a default or lapse. I mean, it's just coming out of the woodwork. And so we want to provide our listeners with this cybersecurity quick reference guide, which lays out all of the things that we're discussing today on our show and the things that you can do to protect yourself, build some firewalls in between you, your financial life, and these scammers out here that, you know, are pretty doggone slick. But there seems to be some real practical things that we can all do to really protect ourselves and bring our level of security up significantly. You know, maybe the difference between leaving all your doors unlocked at your home and now bolting the doors and turning the alarm on, right? Which we all do. Well, we can do those same, you know, kind of go to, you know, just really first level security that could probably ward off 90% of the problems. Adam, tell us about the top 3 things that we can provide our listeners.
So for anyone who is interested in coming into the office, we are offering a service to help you start your cybersecurity journey, notably setting up a second email address, hooking it up with two-factor authentication, and then getting started with a password manager. Now, ideally, when using this, or not ideally, we would assert that any passwords you provide or that you use, you know, and we never know. We're going to turn our backs and leave the room while we show you how to work the password manager. But that's something we want to hook up everyone. If anyone wants to come in and answer any specific questions, we've got this checklist about many different things, and you may have a specific question about 1 or 2 of them, or you may just be interested in having a second email. You might not know how to hook it up by yourself. We're here to help.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, great show today. We're out of time. Anthony, let our listeners know one more time about our special guests and how they can get a hold of you to get a copy of the Savvy Cybersecurity Quick Reference Guide.
Absolutely. So yes, we want to thank Adam for joining us today. We think cybersecurity is needs to be paramount on all of our checklists, things that we need to get done. There are some very simple things, frankly, that you can do to bring your level of protection up significantly. So by all means, if you've thought about getting some extra level of protection with your cybersecurity, and you would like a copy of the Cybersecurity Quick Reference Guide, call our office at 504-828-2171. 504-828-2171. Visit us online at crescentcityretirement.com, and we'll make sure we get you a copy of the Quick Reference Guide.
All right. Well, Adam, thank you so much. A lot of great information for our viewers and listeners out there. Anthony, great show as usual. Listeners, that does it for today's episode of Wealth Builders. Again, with our host, Anthony Kangemi.